When you do something positive and become a professional footballer, which I set out to do, you've got to go and give the next generation hope. I remember giving the 500 tickets to the kids from my school. Probably a lot of people looked at it as a press stunt, but for me, I remember receiving, a ticket for the gifted and talented to go and watch the first ever FA Cup final at Wembley, Manchester United versus Chelsea, and for me that was a confirming moment for me that this is exactly what I want to do. It gave me, extra motivation, and it was just something that I thought to give back, just something small. You don't know how much it will, help someone just like you at that age. Going to school, it was quite difficult, especially, travelling in certain areas in and around Wembley, Halsden, Church Roads. You always had to be careful, as a 14-year-old, 13-year-old, you're walking in a group of three, and you've got to be careful. You've got to always be on the lookout. You can't really be relaxed, because at the time it was really bad. It was pretty much like how it was, pretty much not as bad now, but it was pretty much the same. And when I had the opportunity to go away to Liverpool, I took it with both hands. It was another opportunity for me to kind of be isolated, really. Isolated is probably not the nicest word to use, but to be isolated, to have my focus on becoming a professional footballer. That's something I've always wanted to do, and to be given that opportunity by Liverpool, I'll always be grateful and thankful for.
I was just walking home from school one day, and just been bought from QPR, and someone says my name, my full name, so I'm thinking, oh, he probably knows me. At this point, I'm kind of like, people are starting to recognise me a little bit, and he says, oh, can I speak to you for a second? I said, yeah, no problem. So I walk across the road, and he says the N-word, and then headbutts me, and then I kind of like started scratching my head, like, did he just do this? The wordings, the little subtle messages that newspaper used had a massive effect on how the public perceived a lot of young players, a lot of young black players in that fact, because you start associating the words bling at the end of sentences. You start associating just little subtle words that people think, okay, like this person is this sort of character, and if the public don't see you on a regular basis, don't know you, that's what their perception of you is going to be, and that's who they think you are, and that's how they're going to judge you when they see you on a football field. I've always thought it was an issue, so I thought to myself at this moment in time, let me use this example to kind of bring light to a situation that I felt that I needed to speak up on.
Throughout your career, then things happen. You're not quite as confident as you was when you were 14, 15. You start believing what people are saying about you, but then there comes a moment in your life where you wake up and understand, of course, with the great coaching staff that we have at City, it's always an added bonus. But to get back my confidence within myself and not really listen to the negativity that I was hearing about myself, and actually starting to believe it, I think that was a massive turnaround for me. Whenever I'm feeling down or anything bad, I always think of my mum, or my mum doing the situation. She's a lady that fights. That's the word I always use for us, fight. She's always fighting, and that's the mentality I like to use now, is to fight. I've seen my mum fight through some of the hardest things, and sometimes I look at my situation and I'm thinking, this ain't nothing, like I can get through this on the other side, because I've seen what my mum's done, I've seen what she's capable of. So I think that's where I get my fight from. I don't speak about it a lot, but my dad passed away when I was a young boy, but it's a difficult one to talk about. But sometimes I'm sitting before games, before the World Cup, and just little moments like that, I just wish you could see me on the pitch, and but it's the way it is. But forever, I always love him, always that he's watching over us.